Welcome to Dungeon Master. This is a flip book of the time I had to go meet the witch, Avril Lavigne and the postman, and this time Avril only came, but we got to conceal her as one of the Where's Waldo characters in these true-life paintings. And I only but so much hate it that it turns out that these new light paintings are just absurd in the way that they represent what happened but aren't as near as full of carnage and wreckage as the real thing. If a painter wants to paint like the real thing, they should do that dude with his head that gets it cut off in the Vatican. We have seen this deck before, and we have seen this lady, for this is my ex-girlfriend, and she won't come back to me. Says she's too good for me. Says my taking up magic gets me mullocked in the bout. And I'm not real sure what she's talking about, because she has at least 5, maybe 6 other boyfriends, and we just all usually change off until I suddenly wasn't as good as her. And now we have a Renaissance painting. How did we know that it was what we were already looking at? But now we have a book within a book. We're stashing the book and going back to the note cards, which are the same, although we may have to check out how these pages reformed a book in that book form, but they look like other pages torn out, but it looks like what actually happened was the binding broken. Now here's where we get interesting, because this painting I think we had seen last time, but it had already made us want to move the frame up to here. But then it gets out of focus because the whole focal point is painted in. That's why paintings go out of focus when you get close to them. Plus, when printed on this kind of paper, there's a scientific replica of the painting that's already coming off the sheet. But if you look deep into her baby's eyes and see the strange knife coming up to the side, you will notice there's no suspense or terror, nothing erotic about it, but it's a beautiful painting, isn't it? And to be beautiful, you don't have to be erotic, quite simply the opposite, because you take this couple, and he's really enjoying her, but she's trying to pretend not to get her son, her baby, to notice, and this man who's looking of late aristocracy is kissing his wench, and there would be a mild bit of something sexual going on, except it isn't, because there's a kid there and she's pushing him away. But that's typical of today too. When we have kids, our kids come running in, and kids take first, and I have no kids, and my adopted kids take first. Wow, another scroll that turned out to be a book. The scrolls are coming together. The Library of Congress must have been summoned. Who is there first? But do we need to really look long on this to look like this is a moving painting? See, Dungeon Master has a slight problem, folks, and let's watch this one move. And if you look at any of the eyes of any of the pictures of the babies, especially the mom, it looks like the head is moving. It's not just because I'm giving this purely cue background history or point front blank still movement. But if it rocked back and forth just a little bit, it would look like the babies are all being rocked. Check it out over here. They're rocking. That one even looks like it's rocking with a lute. Point is, as yesterday I was in a garden like this, eating Cheetos with a friend of mine, and we had just had a steak of brew. And suddenly it dawned on me. Not only did she want my cryptic information, she wanted my middle name, so I was very cautious from then on. And the next thing you knew, she shot a spitwad at me. It hit me, and it was none other than an endive. Now, endives we've gone over very carefully in the Dungeon Master, and we've gone over endives in what turns about a book of mine called The Ballad of the Dead Tellurides, and there are some computer books like Theory of Video Games that does go through endive. So please, what it is you A drop of snow falls on your head, right in the spot that had been triggered out somehow, and then you're in a video game for an indefinite amount of time, controlling it with your psyche, which is hard to do because that means good or happy. These kids don't look good or happy. They look cold, stoned, and moaned. They look like they've been standing in that picture forever. But an Indive's whole goal is to make you happy. But if you sense that it's not happiness, then you can almost start to sense that it's redundant. And that's what I don't like about automaton gaming. And I hate it when I just take a shot of whiskey. I don't. But when I used to, and an Indive would appear anyway, it's like they're addictive and stuff. Now I see why these pages are torn apart. We go to the majesty, the able in we take not forgotten notice of the sunder page repeated. The sunder page repeated says, looking stark, and the throne room is looking vanquished, and the religious types are looking to err in, or he may even bring his axe with him. Now, some of the things from the Renaissance may remind us of the Middle Ages, and that's because they happened at the same time, but what doesn't make sense is how they could capture the beauty of these women, even when going through the hardest time of their life. Now, they're not smiling, but they definitely don't look like they've been frowning too much, although some of the children in these pictures are growing up in mysterious ways, and it's hard to really tag on what they're doing. But we're going to level up because we just found none other than the Lona Misa. The Lona Misa. Now, this isn't the exact Mango alla Lamita, because we saw her in a different dream one time when we were lost in Cannes. This would actually say Leonardo da Vinci, but it says Leonardo da Vinci, and this is not the puppet we came looking for. But since we found it, everybody, give yourself an extra life, plus stamina 200, plus charisma 300. Look, she's even starting to smile. And they say Mona Lisa doesn't smile. Well, the angle I'm looking at it from does, Mona. Yeah, we're keeping that as a trophy win. Trophy win for the game of Dungeon Master. You would have warned me, peasants, that you were playing this game, and you were the bishop, and you were the magician, and you were the knight and the fighter, and you were the prince, the enchantress. And this, engraven in this stone, is that if anyone can top the enchantery of what trapped this picture over a woman, while the woman got trapped in the picture because she thought she was her, has never been so legendized, as they just keep absorbing into the other, and that's how they do the restoration. But we mustn't keep tarrying on. We mustn't keep tarrying on about our simple warnings that we're actually attracting real things, and that this is a slightly ripped page. We mustn't tell anyone. Because then they would think that it's defamed property. Well, you should have seen what I did with my Pulitzer jacket. I used it as straw and whipped it down the quid drawer. This will take you time off the Mona Lisa to something even more like, is it the woman cast for a Hollywood play? Is that what we're getting at? Do we think we're women cast from Hollywood plays? And remind you, this is all in a time before Hollywood, but what better way to get a headband than for some Star Wars princess than this? And by the way, I've heard the Illuminati's thing is true, so that means that other famous actors go back in time and play a character. That's Brendan Fraser. Everybody knows that's Brendan Fraser now because he's in Monkey Bone. But if you ask me, this looks more like Brendan Fraser out of Encino Man. But that Brendan Fraser's in it is because his name was a long-spoken time ago given to the dwarf that will be in the ring cycle eventually, who created the world just to create an invincible ring. And that was the whole point. He created the world. And then he started naming names of babies that were popping out of one of the baby trees. And there were 144,000 of the Illuminati. They've been controlling since the beginning and since the end. And I never really knew Brendan Fraser was one until I saw him right now. But you can't disagree, there's a resemblance. All right, now who's this masquerador? This kindred of the kindred. This bourgeois that your midriff showing in it. Now we have a real high-strung version of the cast, and by high-strung I don't mean to hurt any feelings, but that there's angels riding surfboard magic carpet clouds over in one direction like they've turned into a zombie bat, and then in the other half the devil is flying over his skull, and Jesus is thinking, neither one of these guys seem like they'd go to heaven. And this guy's like, pardon me, Jesus, but you said I'd be with you in paradise tomorrow if I believed in you. And this guy said he'd ram an ice pick in my throat if I did believe in you. Go now with the devil, for he is stronger, and he will find your latchy ways. Ah, Jesus, said the devil, I ain't gonna do nothing to nobody. I already got you on the cross, man. The whole town's cheering for me. Everybody's on sleep mode because I can't sleep on everybody, but I don't want to kill you. I want natural causes of the cross to kill you. That way I can exercise my organism without being so bloody and distasteful like we have. And that's what he was stuck between two. It was a very no-exit situation for Jesus then. But look at this. Do we have one? The School of Athens? Why I always thought this was Plato's Academy, I don't know. Could I name all of these guys who are philosophers? Probably not. Has this picture been updated to the Hegelian years and even to the Derrida years? Yes, it has. But this one seems original. But then again, this is already 1,000 years after the first 300 years of philosophy ended around Christ being born. This being 1,100 years later is still an accurate figment, but the pigment of it is so nice that we get these curvy hallways and these brainiac wizards and these two-tie-to-tie type jobs around the makeup and costume and everything. They've got to line up for that and be in this, which is the school of all philosophy, where all wisdom and knowledge come to place, where all dreamers abide and where all thinkers reside, and where everyone else in the race wants to be as soon as they know what is philosophy. This is Jesus when he was giving his last confession to Savonarola, but he was sticking a friend up against the window named Bar-Jesus just to see what the preacher would say, because Jesus said, I will never die at the hands of a preacher telling me wrong prophecy, but I cannot lie to him that it is prophecy, which he will consider me lying anyway. So this guy sent in, he babbles in his ear, says the wrong thing at the wrong time, and Jesus was back in jail. Oh, look. A mini run of an actual family that's actually all together there. We look around, it's not erotic, it's finally a family. But for all we know, now that we see the angels, is that it's Moses, his sister Samson, and her brother Thaddeus, preparing for another reenactment of what so die-hardingly smothering turned out to be Christian. I mean, if there's an angel in it, could you just flash one so we know not to look at the Christianly naked baby aliens, angels? Dungeon Master needs to move on from that one. What is this, a garden party? What is this? What? It looks like that. It looks like that movie. I can't come for 5 more minutes. Yeah? Can I wait 5 minutes? Okay. Sorry, Dungeon Master really needs a bowl, but we can't go yet. We can't clip it yet. We're looking around at all of these people that are organizing in front of a stairwell. and what it must be to me is a reenactment of Much Ado About Nothing, the original mythology in Itake's. I mean, it doesn't look like it's Salo or anything. It just looks like it's a bunch of Italians having a good time, which I'm not saying that movie they're not, but they claim to be not, and that's the point. Now that he's eating a gorilla on top of a sneak snack, no, he's just holding up a child who's holding it to them while he preaches something, and strange lingerings in the background of de-pantsed lifeguards. We have plenty of time for tape 2. It's going to take about 4 minutes and 20 seconds go. Now, this is a very important painting to run into in this book, too, and I can't believe it's here, and I already don't know what I did with the Mona Lisa, and need to adjust myself in one way or another, because now we're going to look at this painting for a while, and this is what you would call the God and Man painting of Michelangelo, the Sistine Chapel of the Vatican. It's the Sistine Chapel. This has one side of a nervous woman showering, which is perfect for an art book, even all from the Renaissance. And I'm going to look at this again, and we'll have to, I don't know if we lost Mona Lisa. Bookends. We're going silent now to find her. Well, we can't find her yet, and she may have been... Oh, one more time. This is what this painting is supposed to be meant, and I'm sorry for the delay, children. Nobody likes a delay in game. But this is what was meant to happen with these paintings. She was coming down to him as she is God, and everyone bow. She is God, and everyone bow. And the message to her people: sorry, I'm from France, but I'm really from Italy, but it's Da Vinci, like Game of Thrones. Cool, huh? Yes, Mona Lisa, we have heard of you. We know where you get that great smile and awesome eyes from. No genealogy ever. Now this is what he's reaching for. He's like, God, I just want to get laid before I die on this rock. I just want to get laid before I die on this rock. Please, give me 3 more minutes, please. Please. And then he's looking at this rock, and it's looking at his hand, and he's saying, who is this woman over here? She seems so beautiful. She seems so adjusted. And then, of course, as we've seen them together, it's him and her. But now I'm not going to cut out and put the pictures where they need to go because I don't have a computer, Da Vinci Code computer. But if I were to put her right up here and down, it looked like she was kind of laying on his lap. And that's where I kind of think those paintings were actually painted at the exact same time by the exact same painter. And it didn't look the same on the God and Man one. We had to cover up God when woman got back because that was about his idea in the Garden of Eden, was getting fresh with Adam. But Eve is your true name only because your true name is Mona Lisa. And so we have seen by the demigods the reason to collect Renaissance art in any form, in any cubicle. I know that we've done research art so many times, and I know that we've done this exact pack once in Two Badass Businesses, perhaps. But that it was maimed and destroyed, I hope this Dungeon Master 20 takes you to new heights. And those of you on level 49 and on level 27, beware, there will be reasons to use them in about 40 levels. Now, we try from each, there we go. Now a cartoon. Is it a cartoon? Kind of a cartoon. And good night, Mona. No, you don't have to kiss me. I have bad breath. I went too close. Got some coffee from the Salo set. You don't want to know. You still want to kiss me? All right, we better turn off the machine. Turning off the machine, and that was Dungeon Master.